Who should the Chicago Bears draft with the now 9th overall selection?
So there's a lot of different ways they can go here. I'm liking the idea of offensive line. There's a guy out of Northwestern that I can't remember his name. Yeah, him. I think that could be a pretty good pick. There is another guy. I don't know if we're gonna get him, but I like the possibility of him. I like Nolan Smith, linebacker from Georgia. He's really good. I mean, I'm not a big combine guy. I don't look, oh, he had a good combine, so you got to draft him real high. But this guy was showing out. He was putting up some impressive numbers. Paris Johnson from Ohio State, that could be another good guy, offensive tackle. I'd say definitely either get a stud on the defensive end or an offensive lineman. I'd be fine with an offensive lineman, but I am really happy they traded back. I had something else I wanted to say. I know some people still think Jalen Carter is gonna fall because I know what did he get caught for? Like speeding.
It was like reckless driving,
something like that.
Street racing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he'll. Do you think he's gonna? How far do you think he's gonna fall? Because I don't think he's gonna be like the consensus #1 defense.
Man, honestly, I have a strong feeling that he could fall out of the top 5. I could see Arizona taking him over Will Anderson. Now, I'm not really high on that. If you would have asked me that like a month ago, I would have been a little bit more confident that Jalen Carter would go over Will Anderson. It's just that you don't really find a lot of dominant defensive tackles that have the pass rush potential that Jordan Davis has. But it's like, it looks like we could see a good amount of QBs, probably like the best QB prospects going in within the first couple of picks. But I think after Seattle, you have to look at Detroit. You already have Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, that'd be horrible to play that twice a year. To play Aiden Hutchinson, okay. Now that you say that, I'm getting
James Houston. That's who it is. So you have Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, and potentially Jalen Carter.
That's scary. That's actually really scary. I think, okay, if he were to fall to 9, I feel like you got to get him if he falls that far. I don't know if he will. I will say when it was looking like the Bears are only going to trade down, like when the Texans and Colts were offering trades, and it was looking like the Bears were going to pick around between like 2 or 4, I was saying that Jalen Carter was way better than Will Anderson. Because from what I saw from Will Anderson, I mean, he was good, but like I watched him play against Texas in that one when Alabama played Texas, and I think he had like 50 yards in penalties. Like, it was terrible. Like, from what I saw from Will Anderson, I mean, I know he's still a great player, but from what I saw, I definitely thought that Jalen Carter was better. So I'm saying, so if he were to fall to 9, I would say you got to get him. I feel like you just got to assume the risk with that one. But I think if he doesn't, just take an offensive lineman because you don't want Fields running for his life every play. I saw some people. This is what I saw, and I don't know if I saw some people saying the Bears should eventually draft Bijan Robinson from Texas, and what they said was draft Bijan Robinson and run the option all year. Just run the option. And I was like, I mean, it could work, but I feel like that would get snuffed out pretty quick. But I wouldn't be opposed to drafting Bijan Robinson. He's a really good running back. I would definitely not be upset if they picked him.
And I was definitely about to ask you that there could be a potential possibility that maybe you guys take another back. But with the 9th overall selection, I don't think you guys would take one that high.
Not top 10. Don't take a back.
Yeah. Even though Bijan, when you talk to most people in the draft community that do all these mock draft and rankings, a lot of people view him as a consensus top 10 or top 5 player in this draft. It's just, the demand for the running back position is so low, but he probably will go in the first round. But I think if I was Ryan Poles and I was making a pick 9th overall, if Jalen Carter isn't on the board, I probably do continue to build on the offensive side of things. I probably would try to see if Paris Johnson is still on the board. or I would maybe take Peter Skoronski. It's just the problem with Peter Skoronski is that he has those short arms, similar to the Rashawn Slater criticism that people had about him.
Also a Northwestern guy.
Don't know what it is with Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald, and these short arm offensive tackles, but they normally end up being pretty good. Rashawn Slater is pretty good when he's available and he's on the field and healthy. Maybe Peter Skoronski could follow down in the same footsteps